It arrives every year like clockwork, but don't mistake its predictability for simplicity. We call it the flu, a nickname that belies its true power. This is not a bad cold. This is a shape-shifting global predator with a history of pandemics and a relentless drive to survive. For most, it's a week of misery, but for tens of thousands in the US alone, it's a life-threatening crisis. Welcome back to Health Inside, Anatomy and Science, and today we're launching a full-scale investigation into the influenza virus. We'll track its journey from a single droplet to a systemic invasion, decode why the vaccine is a yearly gamble, and expose the precise moment a routine infection turns deadly. This is the definitive guide to understanding, preventing, and surviving the annual flu season. The shapeshifter. Anatomy of the influenza virus. Let's meet our adversary. Under the electron microscope, influenza is a sphere studded with two critical proteins, hemagglutinin, H, and neuraminidase, N. These are the H and N in names like H1N1 or H3N2. They are the virus's keys and its escape mechanisms. Hemagglutinin, the key. This protein binds to sialic acid receptors on the surface of our respiratory cells, unlocking the door for the virus to enter. Neuraminidase, the escape hatch. After the virus has replicated inside our cell, neuraminidase cleaves the newly formed viruses free, allowing them to burst out and infect thousands more cells. But here's the core challenge. Influenza has a sloppy replication process. Its RNA genome is prone to errors, leading to constant, minor changes called antigenic drift. This is why last year's immunity, from infection or vaccine, is less effective this year. Even more alarming is antigenic shift, a rare event where two different flu viruses infect the same cell and swap entire gene segments, creating a novel virus to which no human has immunity. This is the origin of pandemics. Hostile takeover, the 7-day war in your body. From exposure to recovery, here's the hour-by-hour battlefield. Day 0 to 1, invasion. You inhale a droplet. The virus lands in your nose, throat, or lungs. Hemagglutinin binds, and the virus is engulfed by a cell. It hijacks the cell's machinery, turning it into a virus factory. Day 2 to 3, the insurrection. New viruses burst forth via neuraminidase, destroying the host cell and invading neighbors. The infected cells send out distress signals, cytokines, and chemokines. This is the call to arms for your immune system, but it's also the source of your symptoms. The fever and aches. Pro-inflammatory cytokines like interleukin-1 travel to the brain's hypothalamus, resetting your body's thermostat to create a fever, an environment less hospitable to the virus. These same cytokines cause the profound muscle aches and fatigue. The cough. The destruction of the respiratory epithelium exposes nerve endings, triggering a dry, persistent cough to clear the debris. Days 4 to 7, peak and retreat. Your adaptive immune system, the B cells and T cells, now arrives with precision. B cells produce antibodies that neutralize free viruses. Cytotoxic T cells hunt down and destroy infected cells. This battle peaks around days 3 to 5, then the tide turns. Day 8 plus, the aftermath. The virus is cleared, but the damage remains. The ciliated cells that sweep mucus and debris out of your airways are destroyed. It can take weeks for this mucosal lining to regenerate, leaving you vulnerable to secondary bacterial infections like pneumonia. This post-viral syndrome explains the lingering fatigue and cough. The vaccine, a calculated prediction, not a force field. The flu shot is the single most important public health tool we have, but it's often misunderstood. The manufacturing race. 6 months before flu season, global health organizations, WHO, CDC, analyze data to predict which H and N variants will dominate. Vaccine production in eggs or cell cultures begins. This long lead time is why the vaccine is sometimes a mismatch if the virus drifts unexpectedly late in the season. Why it's annual. Due to antigenic drift, the last year's immunity from infection or vaccine wanes and may not recognize this year's subtly changed virus. Effectiveness versus efficacy. Efficacy, 50 to 70% in a good year, means a 50 to 70% reduced risk of getting sick enough to see a doctor. Its true underrated power is in severity reduction. A vaccinated person who gets the flu is far less likely to be hospitalized, admitted to the ICU, or die. It's not just about you, it's about community immunity or herd immunity to protect the vulnerable. The danger zone, when flu becomes fatal. For high-risk groups, adults over 65, young children, pregnant women, those with heart or lung disease, diabetes, or weakened immune systems, the flu isn't just a respiratory infection, it's a multi-system crisis. Primary viral pneumonia. The virus itself destroys lung tissue so rapidly that it fills the alveoli with fluid and blood, causing catastrophic respiratory failure. This was common in the 1918 pandemic. Secondary bacterial pneumonia. The damaged airway lining allows bacteria like Streptococcus pneumoniae or Staphylococcus aureus to invade, causing a severe, often later onset pneumonia. Cytokine storm. In some, the immune response becomes a self-destructive frenzy. An uncontrolled flood of cytokines causes widespread inflammation, leading to septic shock and multi-organ failure. Cardiac events. The systemic inflammation can destabilize atherosclerotic plaques in coronary arteries, triggering heart attacks. Studies show the risk of a heart attack is 6 times higher in the week after a confirmed flu infection. Neurological complications. The virus and inflammation can lead to encephalitis, brain inflammation, confusion, and seizures, especially in children. The antiviral arsenal and the 48-hour window. Beyond Tamiflu, oseltamivir, we now have newer agents like baloxavir marcoxyl, Zofluza. They work by inhibiting neuraminidase, or in baloxavir's case, a different protein, preventing new viruses from escaping cells. Their critical limitation, they must be administered within 48 hours of symptom onset to be most effective. After that, the viral replication peak has passed and the damage is driven more by the immune response. They are crucial for high-risk patients, but are not a substitute for vaccination. The future of flu fight, universal vaccines and pandemic preparedness. The holy grail is a universal flu vaccine. Researchers are targeting the stalk region of the hemagglutinin protein, which mutates much less than the head or other conserved viral proteins. Success here could mean a vaccine given once every 5 to 10 years that protects against all seasonal and pandemic strains. This is active, cutting-edge research funded by the NIH and others, representing the future of flu eradication. Influenza is a master of evolution and evasion, but armed with knowledge of its anatomy, its strategy, and our own defenses, from the precise science of the vaccine to the recognition of severe symptoms, we shift from being passive victims to prepared defenders. If this deep dive into the true nature of influenza changed how you see the seasonal flu, please give this video a thumbs up. It signals that this in-depth science is vital. Share it with your family, especially those in high-risk groups. Subscribe to Health Inside, Anatomy and Science, and hit the bell. We exist to give you the knowledge that turns fear into understanding and vulnerability into preparedness. Stay vigilant, stay vaccinated, and stay informed.